Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Bahram. I'm an electrical contractor in Vancouver, BC. And in today's video, I want to show you why we always like to set up our work ahead of our events so we can always do the best things that we can do. Now, sometimes we not be able to do that, and we go ahead and get it done. But as you can tell, I'm a host right now, and this is the way that we get it done. Let's get into the video. So as an electrical contractor, I've always wanted to know, how can I become better? How can I become a better electrician, better business person as a contractor, how to work better with other people, better in communications, and everything that you could imagine in terms of making yourself stand out, making yourself better. Now, of course, that takes time. Some of it you may learn from school, you may learn from other YouTubers or reading books, for example. But the one thing you want to remember is that it doesn't matter where you start. It's just the only thing that's the most important is how you want to go with the way that you're doing things. Now, for me, it was always difficult to get started, and I feel like getting started sometimes could be a hassle just because you don't know how things are going to turn out. Now, of course, you can go ahead and do different things, try different things, but at the end of the day, you're always going to be on your own when you're starting out. You always don't have to be. You could always have support from family, friends, partners, business partners, life partners. But most of the time, making the decision, especially an important decision, that's always a little bit deeper. That's always more personal. So you have to make it alone. It's something that comes down to yourself. Right now that I'm speaking to you is February 28th, 2026. And I honestly have to say that at this point it's very difficult for me. Our business has kind of slowed down. Still have work here and there, and we have small jobs coming and some projects that kind of got delayed last year to a little bit later this year. They're going to be coming up. I don't have any regrets. I don't have anything to complain about really. But at the same time, it's slow enough that I can say it's hard. It's hard right now. Of course, everyone has to deal with the prices as it is. Whether it's you're buying your groceries, toys for kids, paying for classes, and mortgage and interest rates, things like that is the same for everyone. So it doesn't make any sense for me to really complain about that. But at the same time, for me, it's a very big hurdle that right now that we have to deal with. With my family, I'm the only one working. My wife is a stay-at-home mom, and we got the two kids. So that's one thing that's always very difficult, and it's very personal, like I mentioned, in terms of being able to make decisions and seeing what's best right now. Now, of course, you can't be stubborn. You can always think everything's going to turn out fine. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But it's still difficult enough that you need to really sit back sometimes and look at your options and see what it is that you're doing, what you could be doing better, what can get changed, and go from there. For me, for my family, I feel like right now we're at a place that we're okay, but from time to time we still have our hardships. We used to have issues or problems financially, and it all comes down to the decision you make and how you actually stick with them and the steps that you take. So you want to make sure that whatever decision you're making, even though it's personal, it will still affect your family, affect your household. Again, like I said, right now we're having this difficulty. It may change in a few weeks, in a few months. I'm always actively looking for jobs, for business opportunities, and kind of networking and different ways of bringing in more work for myself and my father, that we work together. And I do have kind of like other guys that I can kind of bring on to help me as well. But I would say right now we have slowed down enough that me and my dad can pretty much handle all the work that we have, being in residential, commercial, renovation, new construction, whichever it is. But the main point that I want to get across here is that making the decision to continue rather than giving up and going, saying what, business is very slow right now, I'm just going to go work for a company, and that's fine, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just I feel like in a way you're holding yourself back sometimes, because the reason of you doing that, even though you may not be giving up in terms of like shutting down the business, but when you go work, like that's what I think, and that's how I feel. Again, and I may be wrong, because again, like I'm going through this experience the first time as well. I feel like when you do that, you're kind of putting your dream and what you really want to be doing on a hold. You never know what's going to happen. Things can pick up, things can get worse. If that's the mindset you have, that you're just going to go work and then once it gets better you're going to go back, you don't give yourself some sort of realistic time frame. It's easy just to go back to that job or working for a company and then just staying there and never really getting back to what you actually wanted to do. And that scares me, because I don't want that. Because I know there's not really a good future in that. You're always going to be working for somebody else. Doesn't matter how good or bad they are. You're always going to be working for somebody else. You don't have that much freedom in terms of the type of work you do, how you do it. There's not much growth in that. I know electricians or just people in the trades that have been doing their jobs for a very long time, and they still suffer financially. They're great electricians. They might be worth $50, $100 an hour. Very great technicians. But just because of the wage, and also just maybe they themselves personally, they don't know how to do their financials properly and haven't been smart about money and investing and things like that, but still were able to live okay. But when it comes to retirement, they kind of slow down and they're not able to get anything out of that anymore. And for me, I don't want that to be me. I don't want to go work somewhere and have 10, 15, 20 years go by with nothing to show for it. Yeah, I'll be able to keep my house. I'll be able to pay the bills, but I would not really have too much personal growth. And again, that's depending on the individual, but that's the way that I feel. And that's the way that I see myself. It may not be right. And again, I'm no expert in this by any sort of measure. I'm just kind of telling you about my personal experience and how I feel. I really hope that can change. Of course, like I mentioned, I'm looking for opportunities, looking for jobs, whether it's connecting with contractors, working with bigger corporations and companies to see how I'll be able to work with them. But it is extremely frustrating. It's very difficult, and is because it was hard sometimes. I know that people keep telling me things will change, it will never be the same. Life is not always on the up or on the down. You kind of have your good years and your bad years, and good times and bad times. But this is very hard. And I know there might be other people going through this, and I don't know how, I don't even know if I'm going to be posting this video. It just really me getting this off my chest, and I hope that if you are someone that's going through this, hopefully, what decision you make, there's no wrong decisions here. You just want to make sure you're making a decision that's good for yourself, financially, mentally, of course, a good decision for your family, because you don't want you might be okay with suffering. You might be like, it's okay. I'm just going to hang on there for a few more years, few more months, few more years, but it might be hard for your family. That's tough. That's very tough. So always plan ahead as much as you can, whether it is in your personal or business life. Nothing will be 100%, but at least this way you can have a better idea of where you're going to start, what you're going to be doing, who's going to be there with you, and how you're able to execute on your plans. I hope this helped with just me talking and getting this off my chest. And again, I don't even know if I'm going to be posting this video, but thank you for listening. I hope you like my videos, and I hope to see you soon. Take care, stay safe, and I will see you on the next one.